Former President Trump's body man and his Mar-a-Lago property manager were in court facing new charges tied to classified documents that were stored at Trump's resort Mar-a-Lago. Trump's two co-defendants, Walt Nauta and Carlos de Oliveira, are accused of helping the former president obstruct the investigation. Nauta and Trump, through his attorneys, both entered not guilty pleas for the latest charges. We have CNN's Randy Kay outside of the federal courthouse in Florida. Randy, take us through how this time in court went.
Well, Brianna, as you said, Trump did enter this not guilty plea through his attorneys. He had submitted a waiver of appearance, but Walt Nauta, his aide, did appear with his attorneys and also did enter that not guilty plea. He had pleaded not guilty to the earlier charges, but now he was facing the extra charges from this superseding indictment. But Carlos de Oliveira, the property manager, we were expecting him, Brianna, to enter a plea as well. As you know, he appeared in court in Miami last week, but he didn't enter a plea and didn't have an official arraignment because he needed a Florida attorney in order to enter a plea. He had a Florida attorney in court today, but still no plea, just another delay. The attorney wasn't officially signed on. His name is Donnie Morell, and he told the judge that he's waiting for confirmation before entering his appearance as counsel. De Oliveira's Washington, D.C. based attorney, John Irving, was with him again, and he said that he believed they've ironed out the details, but they need another day or so. So he should have this Florida attorney by tomorrow, but now his official arraignment is delayed until Tuesday of next week, August 15th. That is when he's expected to enter a plea. He may not appear in person, but we should get a plea on Tuesday. Of course, this all relates to the charges both men are facing, including false statements, conspiracy to obstruct justice, as well as concealing documents. The question is, of course, Brianna, how this delay in his arraignment and these added charges and the co-defendants and all that they have to do in court, how will that impact the trial, which is set for May of next year for Donald Trump in the classified documents case? Will it indeed happen before the presidential election, Brianna?
Yeah, we'll be looking for that. We'll be looking for next Tuesday as well. Randy Kay live for us from Florida. Thank you. Alex?
Let's bring in CNN legal analyst, former federal prosecutor Elliot Williams. Elliot, to that question about the timeline, now one of the three co-defendants, Carlos de Oliveira, he had his arraignment postponed today. So this is yet another delay. How much does that play into the timeline of this trial just getting pushed back farther and farther?
Of course it does. Every delay will add to the time it's going to take to get to trial. And remember, it's been weeks, if not months, frankly, since the former president was first charged in the matter. You know, it takes a while to get to trial in any circumstance. I think we all have in our heads that because the election's coming, we've got to move this one along. But no, look, there are any number of matters that are going to slow this down. They haven't even gotten to the legal challenges over handling classified documents. This one's going to take a while to get to trial.
Walt Nauta has pled not guilty.
Yep.
We assume that Carlos de Oliveira could do the same. What chances now are there for prosecutors to flip them, if you will? And is that their goal?
Yeah, it's definitely their goal. It is always in a defendant's interest, the way our system is set up, to plead guilty. Number one, anyone who pleads guilty gets a lower sentence. And number two, anyone who cooperates with the government gets their sentence lowered even further. So we have built in a great incentive to do so. Now, what you have here is the drama of working for the former president. And there isn't a long track record of people turning testimony against the former president. He inspires a bunch of loyalty. So it remains to be seen, but looking at the kind of jail time they might be looking at, it's in their interest to cooperate and testify.
So this was the latest stage in the first federal case. We have now seen an indictment in the second federal case, of course, indictment in New York, and we are expecting one also, well, one for President Trump, former President Trump, also in Georgia. All of these overlapping cases, does that help or hurt the various prosecutors?
You know, I think it probably hurts in a way, only on account of scheduling. Any one of these matters has to happen on its own timeline. And at a certain point, a defendant can't show up to trial in one jurisdiction and another on the same day. So at some point, judges are going to have to talk to each other on the telephone and say, look, we're bringing this defendant to trial this month. Could you maybe postpone yours another month or even longer than that? And it's just one of the realities of scheduling in court.
An extremely busy year ahead, not just for those prosecutors, but of course for President Trump's various lawyers and those around him. Elliot Williams, thanks very much.